Many photographers have misconceptions about zoom lenses, but this Tamron, the 17 to 70mm f2.8 for Sony cameras could genuinely change your mind. Hello, I'm Giuseppe, a nature photographer with over 10 years of experience in the field. In this video, I'll be sharing 3 key reasons why this lens is a fantastic choice for your Sony cameras. So join me on this adventure. So how does this Tamron 70 to 70mm live up to that promise of potentially changing your mind and being a perfect companion for your Sony APSC cameras? In this adventure, we're going to dive deep into 3 core strengths that I believe make this lens truly shine. We'll explore its impressive sharpness across the zoom range, the beautiful bokeh it can produce for that professional look, and its reliable autofocus performance that ensures you nail the shot. Yeah. Beyond these key aspects, we'll also look at practical details like its minimum focusing distance, just how impressively lightweight it is for carrying all day, and the variety of shooting situations where this lens truly excels. Alright, let's talk about what's often non-negotiable for any serious photographer: sharpness. Especially with a zoom lens, there's always that question: does it stay sharp throughout its entire range, or do you have to make compromises? Can this Tamron really deliver that crisp detail we all crave, from wide landscapes at 70mm all the way to tighter shots at 70mm? I remember being out on a cloudy morning by the cliff. I spotted a great waterfall going down to the valley. My first instinct was to zoom all the way to 70mm, a little skeptical, thinking, okay Tamron, let's see what you've got at f2.8 here. I also used it for a sweeping landscape at 17mm, wanted to capture every leaf on the foreground trees and then the whole distant waterfall. And honestly, I was consistently impressed. The level of detail, even when pixel peeping, holds up remarkably well across the zoom range, even wide open at f2.8. Of course, stopping down a little can bring out even more, as with most lenses, but the baseline performance is strong. This means you have the flexibility of a zoom without a significant sacrifice of image clarity. For nature photography, where every detail matters, this is a huge win. But a great nature photo isn't just about sharpness, is it? It's also about drawing the viewer's eye, creating depth, and sometimes achieving that beautifully soft out-of-focus background, the bokeh. With a constant f2.8 aperture, the Tamron 70 to 70mm provides good subject separation. But how does it really render those backgrounds? I was in a dense forest with downpour light. I found this rock with tiny plants. My goal was to make the subject in the environment, so I decided to make a close-up picture. So I got reasonably close to the subject, zooming at 70mm and set the aperture to f2.8 and focus it carefully. And the results? The background just melts away into a smooth, creamy blur. The quality of the bokeh is really pleasing. The out-of-focus highlights are generally nice and rounded, without too many distracting onion rings or harsh edges. This f2.8 aperture isn't just for low light. It's a creative tool that helps you to craft images with a professional artistic feel, making your subject stand out beautifully. For those intimate nature shots, this is invaluable. So, we've got sharpness, we've got a beautiful bokeh, but none of that matters if your lens can't focus quickly and accurately, right? Especially in nature photography, where your subjects can be unpredictable or fleeting. So, how does the Tamron 17 to 70mm autofocus keep up where paired with Sony's excellent autofocus systems? Picture this, I was trying to photograph a green lizard moving across a stone. These aren't a static subject, you need autofocus that's responsive. I had my Sony set to continuous autofocus with animal eyes tracking, and I was really punting the Tamron through its paces, panning and trying to keep the subject in frame and in focus. And for the most part, the autofocus of this Tamron working in tandem with the Sony body is impressively snappy and accurate. It locks on quickly and in good light. It tracked the subject reliably. Even in slightly lower light, it performed respectably. While it might not be a dedicated pro sport lens for general natural photography, including some moderate fast action, it's more than capable. This reliability means fewer missed moments and more keepers, which is exactly what you want when you are out in the field. Now, beyond those three core strengths, there are a few other practical aspects of the Tamron 70 to 70mm that I think make it even more compelling for Sony APS-C shooters, especially for nature. Ever find a beautiful tiny detail, a mushroom, an insect, the texture of a leaf, and wish you could get just a bit closer without switching to a dedicated macro lens? Well, this Tamron has a surprisingly good minimum focusing distance. I was out in the countryside exploring the environment, and I was able to get incredibly close to these small pink flowers, filling the frame with details I wouldn't normally capture with a standard zoom. This close focusing capability adds another layer of versatility, essentially giving you pseudo-macro abilities. It's fantastic for capturing those intimate details of the natural world. Be honest, nobody enjoys lugging around a heavy camera bag, especially on a long day of hiking and exploring, right? I've spent full days out with this lens on my Sony ZV-E10 from sunrise to sunset, hiking on Mount Limbar. And at the end of the day, my neck and shoulders weren't screaming at me. It balances really well on the APS-C body. Its relatively compact size and lightweight for a f2.8 zoom are a massive plus. It means you are more likely to bring it with you, and you'll have more energy to actually enjoy the photography process without being weighted down. This is a big deal for all-day nature adventures. So, when you put all these together, where does this lens truly shine? Whether I was shooting sweeping landscape at 17mm, isolating a subject with beautiful bokeh at 17mm and f2.8, capturing those close-up details, or even some casual environmental portrait of fellow hikers or friend of mine, this lens adapted. This Tamron 70 to 70mm proves to be an incredible versatile one-lens solution for a vast range of nature photography scenarios. It's that lens you can put on your camera and confidently tackle most situations you'll encounter out in the wild, especially if you value traveling relatively light without sacrificing too much quality or that f2.8 aperture. So we've seen some great strength, but let's face it, no lens is perfect. What about those tricky optical gremlins like flare and chromatic aberration, especially when you are shooting into the sun or in high contrast scene? When I'm in the field, I love creating atmosphere in my photos and videos, and that often means shooting directly into the light or in challenging backlight situations. This is prime territory for optical issues like unwanted flare and those pesky chromatic aberrations, which can really degrade an image if they are not well controlled. But don't worry, this Tamron actually handles these challenges quite well. Thanks to its pretty good lens coating, flares are generally well controlled and not overly intrusive. They are certainly less of an issue here than with some other lenses I've tested. When flare does appear, it's often manageable or can even be used correctively. As for chromatic aberration, those purple or green fringes, yes, you might see some in extreme high contrast situation, especially at the other hand. They are typically well corrected in post-production with a simple click in software like Lightroom or Luminar Neo. And here a pleasant surprise on the flare front. If you do want to embrace it, this lens can produce some really nice, well-defined starburst when you stop down the aperture. This gives you another fantastic gravity tool for those landscape shots. So, to wrap the thing up, the Tamron 70-70mm f2.8 has genuinely impressed me, considering its performance across sharpness, bokeh, autofocus, and even flare control, and with a price tag around €600, I can without doubt recommend it. It delivers excellent results for photography and is a fantastic performer for video too, so much that it's become my go-to general-purpose lens on my Sony FX30. If you are looking for that versatile one-lens solution for your Sony APSC camera that doesn't compromise on quality, this Tamron is a very strong contender. So my friend, what are your thoughts on the Tamron 70-70mm f2.8? Have you used it? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your experiences. And if you found this review helpful and want to see more content on nature photography gear and techniques, consider hitting that subscribe button. For those of you specifically looking to upgrade your support system, I've got a video reviewing what I believe is one of the best tripod on the market for landscape photography. You can click the link on the screen now or find it in the description. Until then, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next adventure. Bye for now.